should work. All right, let's post this on Discord. This is awkward because I'm glad nobody knows to show up here yet. I'm using a time off from work streaming to work on my VR game, Punch Bomb, but I decided over the past week to start streaming development. Started a brand new YouTube channel just for project streams and videos for those interested in learning Blender, Unreal, or any other tools I may be using. Okay, here we go. Now I gotta tweet it out too. Also, I hope this works in general. Just because I haven't used OBS in a while. I've been on XSplit forever and decided to go back to OBS starting now. What's up, Maxstar? How's it going? I'm tweeting out my link since I haven't done this in a while. So tonight I am working on my VR game called Punch Bomb, and I'm finishing up a segment of the map for the procedurally generated map mode, which I'll show you what that looks like. Instagram.com. Profile. So this is what I've been working on. It's this like energy tube where the player speeds up on the procedurally generated map. So now I just need to work on some animated text that says speed up or speed increase or whatever I want it to say. I think I'm gonna do speed with like a up arrow next to it. But I need to animate that in a really fun game feeling way. Because you want to add as much game feel to your game as possible, especially if it's like an arcade style game. So these streams on this channel aren't going to be like the most action packed or interesting necessarily, but if you're interested in learning Blender, I know a trick or two. So thank you, I appreciate that, Max. So what's up, Phoenix? So that's what I'm working on. I decided if I'm going to be working on the game, I might as well start streaming it just because it keeps me focused and on target, prevents me from going to sleep while I'm working. What's up, TARDIS man? I've been alive. You saw the thing on Instagram, you commented on it. So this is what I was thinking for the text. This is the font I've been using for the game, so I can't really change that at this point. That would be too big of a change. So I was thinking I could have like 2 arrows here. This is going to be 3D, of course, and I was thinking I could have the arrows sort of like sweep up, animating with the text. Let me tweet my stream out on Facebook too. Maybe not on Facebook. Thank you for the follow, TARDIS man. I appreciate it. Oh wait, TARDIS man is a mod. Thank you for the follow, OSU Phoenix, or subscription, I guess technically would be the proper terminology for YouTube. So anyway, making 3D text in Blender is super easy. We're just gonna want to tone down the resolution a little bit because I do want to port this over to the Oculus Quest eventually, and that has much, much, much lower polygon targets than PC VR does. What's up, Kenzie? How are you tonight, sir? How was your birthday, man? Happy late birthday. Sorry I wasn't live for it. I was thinking about streaming it this weekend, but I really wanted to think about it before coming back, so I didn't like dip. Oh my. God, my neighbors stomp around like no tomorrow. God, I hate my neighbors. I have like the worst neighbors now. They are so goddamn loud. Just all the way through the day, every single day, it's just stomp, 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 stomp. I don't know if they are literal elephants or walruses or something, but Jesus fucking Christ. What's up, Banana? You went to town with your girlfriend and bought her some stuff and yourself some stuff. What'd you buy for yourself? Why isn't she buying you stuff? Possess a plethora of knowledge that you do not in this realm. Yeah, but you know all the sciencey stuff that I have no. That stuff goes way over my head. I know like art stuff and Magic the Gathering stuff. So anyway, making text 3D, really easy. All we have to do is go down to the geometry settings and extrude it. And it looks pretty cool. So we don't want this to be too thick because that goes into the realm of unreadability, but we want it to be thick enough to look 3D. I think that's pretty good for what we're going to start with. I also need to get the scale of this correct, which a really cool way to do that in Blender, for VR especially, is to use the VR mode. I also got some caffeine here so I can wake up and go pretty late tonight. Tetris. It's my Tetris Blast flavored G Fuel. I prefer the carbonated, but they don't sell the canned Tetris Blast in Georgia. So anyway, we need to match the arrows here. I have 2 arrows. I can just duplicate across the first one after I... oh, I need to change snapping to vertex rather than increment. So now I can snap it... I guess that doesn't count as a vertex, huh? Odd. Here we can fix that. So I'm going to duplicate this, convert it to a mesh. Then this should snap to it. Yeah, there we go. So we can match that up perfectly for the thickness. I don't quite want to convert it to a mesh yet, though, because we still want to mess with the resolution of this text. So I'm thinking you want to turn the resolution in games down pretty low. You want as few triangles as you can get away with. She bought you a present for your birthday. What'd you get? You buy her stuff because she makes you happy and gets angry when you buy her stuff. Oh, that's a good trait though, that she doesn't expect you to buy her stuff. You just buy it for her because you want to. It would suck if she was using you. Okay, so like this is going to be animating on screen pretty quickly, so we can get away with it being a little bit jagged. Again, we're targeting this for Oculus Quest eventually, so we need to get as like few vertices and triangles as possible. The targets for Oculus Quest, I believe, are you can have up to 300,000 triangles on screen at once, which sounds like a whole lot, but it's really not. So anyway, once we get this looking about right, I think we can bump that up just a little bit. We can always de-res it some when I bring it over to Quest as well. I think you can even do that in Unreal. So then I need to get the size right. Although the size isn't as important. I do want it to be kind of curved around since the player area is kind of curved. But the size isn't as important because I can scale that in Unreal Engine. So we also need to rig this, but first of all, let's get this curved about right at about the right size. So for that, I'm going to open another Blender document. So I'm gonna save this, open my transition document, which this is the tube here. Animated, I think looks pretty cool. I guess you can't really see it through the chat, huh? Different document and whatnot. So I need to find, I think I have the elevator pad somewhere in this document that I can grab. I'm just gonna turn everything on. Jedi mind tricks, drinking that chili dog G Fuel. Oh my god, dude, no way in hell. How have you been, man? I'm never opening that tub ever again, and I feel kind of dumb for buying 2 collector's boxes. If y'all hear stomping in the background, it's my goddamn neighbors. You stomp like fucking elephants! I hate them so much. Anyway, I need to find my size reference for that asset. You did not make that Red Bull flavor. What is your current job, TARDIS man? Is it still working in the food industry? Like flavor stuff? I don't think they can even hear me. I've been working on writing a letter to them. Let me see what you think of this workshopped letter. And I'm just gonna like duct tape it to, or maybe Gorilla Glue it to their door. I don't know. They're the loudest fucking people in the universe. Dear loud neighbors, confrontation gives me anxiety, but I'm tired of listening to your TV. As such, I'm sending you this letter. Please either turn it down to a reasonable volume, or here's a brilliant thought, maybe move your TV to a different wall than the one you're sharing with your neighbor. I don't know if you've been able to hear my music through the wall, but that's me trying to drown out your loud as fuck TV. Also, please stop whatever the fuck it is you're doing that is literally shaking my apartment. Not an exaggeration, I can feel my desk shake throughout the day. Every day. If I can feel my desk vibrating on the other side of the room, an entire apartment over, you need to either reconsider how you move around or move to a ground floor unit where you can stomp like an elephant all day long to your heart's content. I'm sure the people below you have it significantly worse. I'm literally losing my mind. I can't focus. I can't get anything done. I've been in this apartment complex for 6 years, and you are the least considerate people I've ever had the displeasure of coming across. My college roommate that fucked a different girl every night in the bunk above me was less loud than you. Contrary to what you seem to believe, you're not the only people that live in this apartment complex. I'm also paying rent, and I shouldn't have to tolerate listening to your loud as fuck TV or having my apartment shaken by your loud fucking stomping. Please, please keep it down. I am begging you. I am literally begging you. Thanks, your very annoyed, frustrated, and completely fed up neighbor. You preferred the second option for letters? What do you mean second option? If I give them that letter, please buy a gun. I have a baseball bat with barbed wire on it. I'm fine. Okay, I need to find my elevator pad asset. I don't know where I put that. It's been a while since I've worked on all of this. Is this it? Yeah, this is it. Okay, so it's under transport. _004, and what's the object name? Cylinder 7. I need to name things better. When I posted in the Discord, you liked the second one more? Wait, what did I post in the Discord? New season of Walking Dead, the last one's gonna be a wild ride. They're having a new season of... How is that show still running? That's what I want to know. Okay, so open recent. We want to go back to our transition file. No. We want to go back to our text animation file. God, this is... I wanted to see if I could stream and actually get stuff done. So we're going to find out, I guess. I do need to focus. Okay, transport 4, object, cylinder 7. So this should be the correct size. So we want to model this text and curve it around this. So this is like the little elevator pad that the dude is stepping up on. Hadn't I posted 2 options for letters? Oh, that was on Twitter. Yeah. I posted 2 options for letters I was going to send my neighbors on Twitter. One of them was threatening to blast furry porn through the wall. I had the option of... I had the option of, I laid out in the document that I would go to Best Buy, drop $5,000 on the biggest subwoofer I could find, and blast furry porn through the wall. Okay, so we want to curve around this, but we also want it to be like within the player's view. So this is 2 meters by 2 meters. So this should actually be relatively small compared to this, just so it can fit on the player's view. Although, like, humans have a pretty big field of vision. Nobody realizes this. Supposedly our field of vision is about 24 millimeters. I always thought it was 50, but I looked it up the other day. Apparently it's 24. So if we're standing here and we're looking through this, yeah, so player is standing on the elevator pad. They're gonna be about, which we're gonna animate on the ground plane and then move it up or down based on the height of the player. But let's say we're about 6 feet above the ground. This is about our field of view. So if I now move the text up, this is about what the player would see. So I think we can make this a little bit bigger. We can intrude on their vision a little bit more. I don't know why this is scaling so awkwardly not centered. Alright, so normally I'd put my camera view up here, but I have the chat right there, so I can't do that right now. If they're into furry porn, then I'd be fucked in a first. God, why is the chat up there updating faster than it is on YouTube? What the frick? Live chat. Oh, okay. I had it set to top chat. God, I hate that there are two options for that. Okay, anyway, so that is about the size of it. We can probably honestly extrude this less. So we can make this maybe something like that. We just want some depth to it. And then the outlines of the text, the outer edges are going to be dark while the inside edges are going to be yellow. Just to match the theme of the zone segment. So after this, you've been sleeping around 12 a.m. to 1 a.m. for like the past month or so. But you've actually gotten a good amount of sleep, and I'm not gonna ruin that again. I hope. Okay, so I'm happy with this text. I want to keep it as I want to keep at least one copy as a text object. I'll put it on a nope layer. Okay, so now here's where we want to sort of curve this around the player objects. Something like that. Just to add a nice little bit of curvature to it. And then we still want to make sure that from the camera view, the letters look nicely spaced. I'm sorry, Kenzie. I was going to start streaming game dev almost every night that I'm working on the game. That's the goal, at least. But I just want to see if it goes well tonight. See if I can actually get anything done, which so far, not too bad. It's nice to have people to talk through things with or bounce ideas off of. Okay, so this is what I'm thinking for the text. Maybe curve it like this. And then we have to rig it. So when we're bringing it into the game engine, we're gonna want to rig this to. Although maybe if we don't want it curved, that honestly looks kind of odd. We can probably just get away with making the text flat, straight on rather than curved. It'll be a hell of a lot easier to animate if it's not curved. You're happy now? Don't be happy that I'm gonna ruin your sleep. Don't let me ruin your sleep schedule, Kenzie. Oh wait, Kenzie's a mod too. What am I doing? Add moderator. There we go. Yeah, brand new channel. Just because I'm tired of kids asking me to play Fortnite. Like no matter what I do on the other channel, play Fortnite. No, I want to work on my game. I have to get this out of early access. You have a baby kitten who sleeps in your room on your bed every night. That's adorable. Yeah, I think we're gonna undo the curvature. I don't know if I can't control Z that far. Yeah, now you're a mod. I just made you a mod. So that's why we always save a backup. In case you decide to make changes and it's too late to undo that far. Because you can't undo infinitely. You need hard drive space for that. Alright, so Let's space this out fairly evenly. I'm pretty happy with the shape of these arrows, I think. I just need to triangulate them for the game engine. Game engine will automatically triangulate things when you import it, but it's better if you do it yourself. You'll get better results. At least like within reason. So like quads are fine. Those are going to be triangulated in obvious ways. But like this could be all sorts of things. So I sort of like made the base a little bit bigger than the tip right here, just because I wanted to sort of try to match the font. There's no up arrow in this font, regardless of there being an up arrow in other ASCII fonts. Earlier today, a kid behind you broke his finger in the middle of class. But you actually like heard the bone snap? Did it like clean snap in two? That's nuts. Okay, I'm gonna scale these arrows down a little bit because we want them to sort of match up with the base of the letters. And I do still have a duplicate of the text there, so I can convert this. He once broke someone's thumb. So I figured out a neat trick today. Under vertex, you can have the active element snap, which makes your life a lot easier. So let's sort of snap to the base of these letters like that. And then we can move these down some. We don't care about it matching the top. Oh, it looks kind of like two little, looks kind of like huts, like little huts next to the text. Make these look a little bit more like arrows. Let's see. 0.79. Scale X 0.79. That looks pretty good. I think I'm happy with this. So now let's get to the animating portion, which means I have to rig this to bring it into the engine. I don't know if it snapped in two, but it is a loud crack. Yikes! That sounds traumatizing. I'm sorry. Okay, this is also probably too many edges, and we can clean that up manually. So, yeah, let's go ahead and work on the geometry, and then we'll work on the animation. Because if we do the animation first, we're gonna have to redo it all. So I'm going to merge by distance to get rid of the edges being different objects, and then we're going to manually remesh these letters. And manually remeshing these is going to be easier if this isn't extruded, so we'll re-extrude that after I finish doing this. This is actually what I've been doing at work for the past like week, but on a work project as retopologizing stuff, and Jesus is it tedious. Anyway, the idea is to get rid of unnecessary edges and vertices and to just clean up the shape in general, so it looks nice and clean and we can use the geometry better. And then we'll triangulate it later as well, because the text triangulation does not do a fantastic job. Ah, god damn it. Alright, so we want to cut this. Ease, like the more you do this, the more you know like what geometry patterns work better. So for ease, this works pretty well. It's not the most efficient geometry pattern, but it's workable. And then we don't need to do E twice. We can just duplicate this one over. Snap it in place. And then delete the other one. The D. Who wants the D? Not me. I like ladies. I realized the way I just said that was not super convincing. Whoops. I did go on a date the other day for the first time in forever. But I haven't heard from her since, so I guess that's a no-go. I think it's just the universe reminding me that I shouldn't be doing that. Oh, I should post on Instagram that I'm live too. Although I don't know how to link to it. Can you post links in Instagram stories? YouTube. Switch account. cat just sliced your hand with what? Claws? Okay, I'm making a game. How do I copy this link? Share? Copy link. Let's go to Instagram. Ah! Is it bleeding? Or was it just like a surface level scratch? Post a new story. I'm streaming, working on my game. Yeehaw. I don't know if the link actually works or not. Nobody's gonna type that in manually. Share to my story. Cool. Okay, let's continue remeshing this. Not bleeding, but stings like fuck and is red. Could be worse. I don't know. There have been a few times I've considered going live again recently. Just I missed it. I genuinely enjoy streaming when I'm not caring about the numbers. And I figured a good way to not care about the numbers is to just work on my game. Get this bad boy out of early access. Cool. Okay. So Control T triangulates things in Blender for those who care, which is a nice way to automatically triangulate things. And the cool thing about that, let me show you the difference here. So if we make a new text object and we type in like DD, look how messy that looks. And it does not do a great job by default. So if we convert this to mesh, and then we make all of this like manual faces, like we select all this manually, and then we select these two and triangulate, you get much nicer, cleaner results. Even just doing just one triangulation without modifying the geometry. So modifying the geometry and then triangulating it yourself, you get like the best results. So like if I did this right now, it looks pretty good, but it would look better if we did this. So this, we can probably just get rid of these vertices altogether. Nobody's ever going to notice the difference there, except for people who are watching this stream. And then bam, that looks pretty good. We can also probably honestly get rid of some of these vertices. Like again, this is a game asset. We want to make this as friendly to the Oculus Quest as possible. So if I get rid of like half the vertex count on the interior, again, nobody's ever going to notice because it's small enough from the user view, and it's going to be animated. So getting rid of some of the vertex count there is a good call. So let's do the same thing on the S, especially down here, close to the edge where it's like basically flat. Keeping stream on, but might fall asleep. Dude, I understand. You're in a different time zone. I'm only streaming this to keep myself focused because I felt I was gonna stream last night. I was like planning on it. I got everything set up for the most part. And then I fell asleep because I was so tired. So I'm doing it today instead. And this is like, there's no automated way to do this really. You could do like a limited dissolve, I guess. But really you want to eyeball it and see like which points matter. I don't know. What really affects the shape? Get rid of everything else. And I should be back earlier tomorrow. I worked over, if I decide to go live tomorrow, I worked overtime today, so everything is behind schedule. I have a lot on my plate at work lately. Okay, so this looks pretty good to me. So now we can extrude this manually. And that looks, oh wait, we have to triangulate the S, my bad. Yeah, Okay, now we're good. And again, this is just like a text object. It's not going to be like deforming in weird ways like a character. So we don't care as much about edge flow. So anyway, now we can move this down to be centered. Although we can just animate it right here. Early on FaceTime with your girlfriend asleep, but she got a call from her friend. I'm pretty sure she just ended up falling asleep, so never called back. What time is it for you right now? I know it's late. It's like 4 hours difference, so 9, 10, 12, 1. Is it like 1 a.m.? So we're going to create a new armature. And every armature that comes into Unreal needs a root bone. So this will be our root. And then we need 1 bone for each letter and each arrow. If I really wanted to get fancy, we could try bending these letters, but I don't think that's gonna fly. Wait, it's 2 a.m. Is it 5 hours different? Not 4? 9 to 10, 10, 11, 12, 12 to 1. 5. Wow. Okay. Oh, I forgot y'all can see my screen when I'm clicking on things in Discord. So here's a neat trick. You can shade things smooth, which blends between the edges. But if you don't like the way it looks, like you want some of the edges to be sharp, there's a cool feature called auto smooth. Go to normals, auto smooth, and you can choose the angle at which it will blend things. So it was that where you could see like every single individual face. But now, bam, with the auto smooth, it looks pretty good. Cool. Okay, so let's add some bones for these text objects. And the root doesn't have to be anywhere special. I just need a root bone for everything to be parented to, and I want it to be out of the way. So here, we're going to just try to center these on the letters, I guess. Yeah, if we center it, I think that'll be the easiest to animate. We can duplicate this bone, set the selection to cursor. What does a game engine do if I'm doing all the art in Blender? Game engine is like all of the game logic, like, hey, what happens when your health hits 0, or when do the enemies attack you, or how does this map get generated? So you do all of the artwork in an art program and all of like the programming and logic in the game engine. I can even just show you, because it's pretty cool. Documents. I actually just upgraded the game to Unreal Engine 4.27. I don't use source control because I got screwed once, so I'm not the brightest developer in the world. Oh, my Amazon package shipped. Cool. While this is launching, I'll be right back. BRB. I'm back. So anyway, the question was, what do game engines do if you do all of the art in a different tool? So game engine is used for setting up programming and logic. So let me delete this really quick. And if I hit simulate, hello? What is that doing here? And if I hit play, you'll see like this is following a path and there's like a start button, and then the player hits the start button, it goes away and particles show up. And then this says, this is my map generator, which like, so it procedurally, using math, it generates a new map segment every time the player is about to round a corner. So the map just goes on forever and ever and ever and ever, and then it just deletes old segments of the map. So like you do all of that programming and logic in a game engine, you create the art in an art tool like Blender. And in the industry, you'll hear the term best tool for the job a lot, which means like use Blender for modeling, use Substance Painter for texture painting, use a different tool for animating. I don't know if you want to. I use Blender for animating, but a lot of people like Maya. So like really it's just all about using the best tool for the job. But game engine is where you create all of the logic. So like this is all of the math and program, not that. That's almost nothing. This is all of like the math that generates my math and programming that generates my map when the game plays. It's a big old loop-de-loop that happens over and over again. And I did all of that. So that's what the game engine's for. The art is for creating the assets that you apply programming to. Hope that answered your question. Now let's continue with our animation here. We just want to kind of really center these on the letters. Doesn't have to be perfect in general, especially since they're mostly just going to be animating up rather than to the sides. Okay, so then we do want to name these bones so we don't lose track of which one is which when we're animating. So I'm gonna call this one 01 underscore arrow, 02 underscore S, 03 underscore P. Now if we look in the upper left, we know exactly which bone we're working with. 04 E, and this is 05 underscore E2. 06D, 07 arrow. So now if we click on any of these individual bones, we know exactly which letter we're animating if we just look in the upper left hand corner there, which is nice. So hopefully this should be pretty good. I'm not too worried about it. All of my rigs for everything that I ever animate are super janky. I'm not a rigger by any stretch of the imagination. So here I'm going to parent these to the root, which we did not name. So I'm going to name this right here root. And then one final step, when you're creating a skeleton or armature in Blender, you have to name it something else other than armature. Otherwise, there's some weird bug where when you bring it into Unreal Engine, if it's named armature, it's going to be extremely tiny. It's just a weird out there freak bug that they never fixed. So we're going to name this speed up armature. Yo, what's up, Samurai Ben? How's it going? We're gonna call this, we're gonna parent all of these individual bones to the root, just because there needs to be at least one root bone or object for Unreal to accept your animation without errors. So here, we're going to take both of our objects and join them. So we have one object now. We need to reapply the auto smooth so it looks nice. And then what we're gonna do is, ooh, I might want to bevel. No. Do we really want to bevel the so previously, I think I can get away with a lot of that in texturing. Previously, what I would do is I would add like nice, so I'd add like nice bevels to all of my objects, like so. So it catches the light in interesting ways. But since I'm trying to target this for Quest eventually now, Oculus Quest, I'm really cutting back on polygon usage and doing a lot of that in texturing, which I can also make a beveled version of this and bake it to the normal map to make it look beveled. Got your first AP chemistry test tomorrow. That's right, school just started up, didn't it? What year is chemistry? What grade you in? I don't know if I should be asking that. Yay, science. Okay, so now we're going to parent this to the armature with empty groups so I can manually assign these to their bones. So now I just go through, select each individual letter, 001 arrow, 02S, 03P, 04E, assign, 05E2, 06D, 07 arrow. So now if we go into pose mode and move the bones, these letters will be attached to them. Nice. You're in 10th grade. That's 9th would be freshman, so 10th would be sophomore? I think. How if I know? So now we want to animate this, and I need to really think about this. I want them to sort of like from the side. Let me draw this out to give you all an idea. I want them to sort of like scale and animate up in like a curve. So like they start out flat and go, but then they're also getting offset from each other. And I'm gonna have some voice audio with this too that says speed up. Just like that. I do all the voice acting myself, it's beautiful. So anyway, let's say this is the pose that we want the text to end up in. We're working at 90 frames per second. So I'm just gonna use the timeline down here, but then we're gonna move to the graph editor to really iron things out. Sorry, I have to check notifications and things too. I do have a life outside of this. Oh, I can probably close Unreal Engine and save on some performance here, but who cares of all the performance in the universe? So anyway, let's go ahead and say, how long would it take one letter to go up? Let's start with a second, which is 90 frames per second right now, since that's the target FPS for VR. This is all gets interpolated in Unreal Engine. It's not like gonna be jittery if it doesn't meet specific frame requirements. So we're gonna insert location, rotation, and scale. Are these these are quaternions. We're gonna be rotating these on the x-axis. So quaternions are weird witchcraft voodoo magic. And it's really hard to manipulate them in the graph editor, but they fix Euler transform issues when you're animating a character. So we want to switch to Euler, I think it's correct pronunciation. We want to switch to Euler transforms, and we want to prioritize whichever axis you're going to be rotating the most. So we want the first one to be, I think XYZ is probably fine since we're rotating these on the x-axis. Whole bunch of nerd stuff, yeah. I know I just said a whole bunch of really big words. Basically, we're just changing the transform space for the rotations, which also sounds like a lot of big words. I'm sorry. Okay, cool. So now, if we select these ones, we can put the root on a different layer, just so we don't accidentally select it and animate it. So now, let's say we want these to animate from about right here. Let's go ahead and draw that out just so we can see where we want these to start and finish. Somewhere around there looks pretty good to me. And rotate these down. BRB, alright, sir. I swear, dude, I don't understand why the chat on OBS updates faster than the actual YouTube chat for me. So, animate these. So, whoa. So we do want them, that's a little bit slow, honestly. Oh, we need to change the frame rate. Oh, it is set to 90. It's very slow. Yeah, so that's about half that. Let's put that at 45 frames. then we want it to follow the curve as well. That's why I drew the curve, so we know how we want this to follow, so we can animate it better. So we can manipulate a lot of that in the graph editor. Right now I just want to get the timing right. Maybe even faster. Like less than a second? Like less than half a second? Let's take it down half again. The only way to really get timing right is to mess with it and see what feels right. It's a trial and error process. I forgot to share this on Facebook. Yeah, I don't know if I want to share it with my friends. Okay, so like for instance right here, we want this to be matching the curve. So now, it matches the curve a lot better. It sort of sweeps up the way you want it to. And that looks really cool. And then we want them to sort of like overshoot and then settle down. And then we're gonna offset each of these. So let's go to like frame 60. It's really hard to animate at a frames per second that you're not super familiar with. Let's hop over to the graph editor here. Which graph editor is not nearly as complicated as it looks, I promise. So for this, you want to go ahead and smooth out the graph. Which one is rotation? So if we want to just see the rotation, okay, so the big motion is the rotation. That's all I needed to know. You can turn on all of these again. Hide everything except the rotations, and we can just rotate the graph a bit. Oh, we want to, oh shit, we want to do Z location, my bad. So we can select the Z location. That's right down here. Turn everything else off. So we have all of our Z locations here, which should match up. So now if we move our cursor over here and we rotate this, we can just move it up some. Nope, that's gonna, oh, Y location, because the bones are oriented wrong. That's my bad. I promise I know what I'm doing. Okay. Cool. Okay, so now we move this and rotate it, and the graph will look nice. So notice how there's like that follow through and then settle back. It'll look really cool once the letters are doing it each on their own at a different rate. So here we go. And then we're gonna unwrap this and texture it later too. Hopefully, if I have time tonight. Okay, so from the side, let's see what this looks like. We can always tone this down some too, and make this settle down a little bit slower. This is why the graph editor is such a beautiful thing. Speed up. And then let's go ahead and scale each of these down as well. We want to do this on the individual origins. We'll set this to 0, insert scale. So want them to sort of come out of nowhere. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so let's work on the scales actually. You can unhide all the channels. Just find our scale channels. So it looks like all the scales are going to be exactly the same. So you can hide everything except those. And then we can have the scale overshoot a little bit as well. So it comes up, and at the peak, we can have these scale up a little bit bigger than they should be. And then I want to actually, we're at the end of this, I kind of want to animate the arrows a little bit separately after the speed. So it'll animate speed on screen, and then when the person says up, like speed up, then the arrows are gonna pop up. So I'm not too worried about the arrows right now. I'll probably delete these keyframes later. But let's go ahead and offset the letters and see if the speed feels right. So for that, we're gonna go to the dope sheet. I don't actually know the hotkey for that one. Shift F12, apparently. Hey. Oh, I guess you have to hit it multiple times and it'll cycle through. Cool. Why does this not look like the regular ass dope sheet though? That's what I want to know. There we are. It was missing the side text here when I hotkeyed in. So I don't know what this keyframe is from. I have no idea. Maybe it's from this guy? Did I not? What is that? Oh, the root. The root bone has a keyframe on it, and that's showing up in the dope sheet. Yikes. All right, so let's turn on our root, and we're gonna get rid of all the transforms on that. All right, cool. So now, with the text animating up, now we just want to offset it. And fortunately, we named these so we know which bone is which. It's behind my head right now, so you can't exactly see the names, but that doesn't really matter to you. And we want to offset these. So at 24 frames per second, I would offset them by 1 or 2 frames. So at 90 frames per second, we're gonna have to offset them a lot more. So arrows, we don't really care about. I'm gonna hide those actually, because we don't care about them right now. So let's offset these by, let's try 5 frames to start. That looks pretty cool. Yeah, look at that. So if we turn off speed. God, I'm so good at this. I know my shit, man. I think maybe not have it linear like this. Maybe have the 2 outsides come up first and then the other letters do. So we'll offset it more like this. So D will be offset by like 2 frames. And then 5 for each of these. So it'll be more like, whoosh. That looks pretty cool. Maybe even offset it a little bit more. And then sort of center this. I think that E is trailing behind a little bit far. So let me sort of, yeah. And that's looking pretty cool, I think. I do want the D to be like noticeably offset though. So let's try this. And then offset this guy by like 2 more frames. I think that's looking pretty cool. Yeah. And then we can work on the rotation a little bit for these. So let's go back to the graph editor and work on that. And fortunately, Blender has a really cool tool for scaling from individual points rather than from just the center of the bounding box. So we can Alt-H to unhide everything. We want to work on the X rotation. So let's just unhide just the X rotations. And let's justify these curves a little bit more. And we also want to set this to individual origins for transforms. So the fact that the frames are offset won't matter a whole lot. All right, cool. All right, now we can work on the arrows. I think, God, something about that E just doesn't feel right. Maybe we need to offset the P a little bit more. To sort of like normalize these. And then we can move all of them back. I think more subtle is gonna feel better here. Let me try something. So I'm gonna save this so I can just reopen without redoing work. If I don't like it, I'm gonna realign all of these letters real quick. And then we're gonna try something. Offset by 5, offset by 5, offset by 5, offset by -5. Maybe offset. Maybe. Offset by 2. Offset by 3. I think it's looking better. Not center justified, if you know what I mean there. Speed up. God, I can't decide. This is tough. We definitely want these E's to be offset some. The P should only be 5 frames from the S. Maybe even less. Maybe just like 4 frames offset. I feel like part of the problem here is like how far offset these feel. One, two, three. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 for the D. So that really feels offset. Then maybe just 3 for the other ones. Then 2 for this one. Oh, that's starting to feel good. It's kind of working. I don't know, I think I kind of like it just starting at the start and sort of rippling up. Ugh. Decisions. I guess I can have multiple options. I can always make multiple animations, that's not a problem. And we still need to texture this as well. So let's just... Maybe they don't need to be offset that much. Now they feel really offset from the S. Of course, why does the P still... Oh! Oh, shit. The P is not timed the same. somehow got scaled. I think just offset 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. One, 2. Yeah, I think this still feels the best. We could also, oh, we could randomize. Yeah, we could randomize the order. That could work too. It's like every other letter. So like 1, 2, 3, let's say 4 frames offset, or 3 frames offset. So then it could be this one. We could have this D. And then this E. It could be like, that's kind of like a stair step pattern though. Flip the D and the E. I don't think there are enough letters for that to look cool. I think just 3 frame offset from the start. We can adjust it later. This is my final decision. Like this. That looks cool. And then we can go to the graph editor and make the Y location. You're doing pretty good. Oh, that message was, it's been a minute. I don't know if Sam Ryben has BRB'd yet. Anyway, offset this a bit more. Scale this a bit more so it... Yeah, that looks pretty good to me. Speed. And then we animate the arrows. So now, so we do speed, and then as that's settling down, go back to our dope sheet, grab our arrows and have those start like here. Speed up. Going for sonic super speed. So the idea is the player has to like physically duck and dodge obstacles. It's gonna be a good fitness game throughout this tunnel that generates. I don't know if you've seen the posts on Instagram or not. Where's my character? Shit. Throughout this tunnel that randomly generates. So there will be like doors and things the player has to duck under and things they have to collect to stay alive. They have to collect these little energy orbs by punching them and then duck under the different obstacles. Or punch some obstacles that I haven't made yet. And then every so often it's going to speed up. I realize that you can't see much of this because it's behind the chat. So that's what this energy segment tube is for. It's the segment of the map where the player speeds up. We're gonna have this text animate. We're gonna have a nice particle animation. It's gonna be really cool. What's up, Juan? How are you tonight? Alright, so that's what this text is gonna be. Speed up. I think we can have the text animation start like right when the text hits the peak though. Speed up. And then offset these once I get the... You'd play my game if you ever get a VR headset or am able to use one. I appreciate you, TARDIS man. I want to port this to Oculus Quest when I'm done, just because I think that's where the biggest market share is for VR headsets right now. And this would be a really fun game without a wire tethering you to a PC. But I've got to do a lot of optimization before I get that working. So, man, they announced a brand new like Secret Lair series for Magic the Gathering, and there's some really cool artwork they did. I tweeted it out as well, but they have a whole bunch of Secret Lairs available right now. So like for Kamigawa, like old cards, they did like these reimagined like Japanese art style for them, and they look so cool. I'm definitely gonna buy this one. I don't know if I'm gonna buy the entire bundle of all of the new Secret Lairs or not though. But those are really cool. So that's only $30, and that's totally understandable. But if you want all of the Secret Lairs that are available right now, it's like expensive. You have a friend who has the Quest 2? That's like the eventual goal for this game. I want to port it to that. But I have a lot of work before then. First I need to get the game working. So I want these. I want the arrows to just sort of so we're gonna have the text come up, then the arrows are gonna come up, but they're not gonna settle in place. They're gonna keep going. And then the text is gonna follow the arrows, is what I'm thinking is gonna look cool. This is all just trial and error until I get something I like, of course. So speed up. So the arrows are not gonna settle back into place. They're just gonna sort of continue up into oblivion. So that's gonna be these frames right here. And then we can use the graph editor. Insert location, rotation, scale. And we don't want them to sort of settle here, and that's what the graph editor is useful for. So let's look at their Y location. And you can see why they're slowing down here. The graph editor makes sense. So you understand math, TARDIS man. Find it crazy how it's possible to make games. The engines like Unreal Engine make it really easy for solo developers. Most people still have teams though, even indie studios. So you understand graphs. So this graph represents only the up and down location of these letters. So that's why it looks like they're sort of slowing down here for a split second, is because they are. X-axis on the graph is time, and the up and down axis is the value for the up and down motion of these arrows. That's why we have all these different graphs for all these different transforms. So you have like the up and down location, left and right location, the Z location, the rotations on each channel. Yeah, so it's pretty much exactly like that. So just X is time. So now if I do this, the arrows are just gonna continue up if I fix that little stair step. That is not the speed that I would like them to continue up, honestly. We don't want them to slow down again when they get to the top here, because we're gonna have them scale out by that point. So we want them to just sort of continue up. So speed up. And then we can modify this as well. And we're gonna have to go back to our dope sheet because we just messed with the timing there. A function is continuous. So then by this frame, I don't know what this frame is. Oh, that's stuff scale happening there. So by the time it stops here, we want the arrows to completely scale out. So we want them to be bigger here, and then scale out by this point in time. So we're gonna select both of these, scale 0, insert scale, keyframe. And those are scaling out a little bit too fast. So we probably want this to take a little bit more time overall. And we can also, yeah, so these that need to take a little more time and maybe go a little bit higher. So we like the speed of this. Time and space. Even listening to David Tennant's podcast while driving. He has a podcast? You gotta send me a link to that. I would love to listen to a David Tennant podcast. Okay, so that's looking pretty cool. Now we just need to animate the scale more. So let's unhide everything, and then let's find our scale here. Unhide that, and then make this more linear as well. And then we can sort of just scale this out, so it sort of takes longer to scale. And then we can also make these a little bit bigger when they hit their peak. Speed up. Here's an episode from 2019 to 2020. Not sure if we'll make more. How many episodes are there? Out of curiosity. Oh, we also want the scale to match the location. Which means we can definitely bring this back a few frames, I think. And bring this down some. So we don't really want this to trail off too far. So we can sort of do like that. Speed up. So right here, we want the letters to sort of start following the arrows. Also, I want these arrows to be offset a little bit. So like this one will come on first and this one will come on like maybe 2 frames later. Just adding that subtle amount of offset is so nice. It's appealing. So now, speed up. Of how conversational is with the guests. Mainly actors, and you can hear them having normal conversations. Nice. Maybe offsetting it like that wasn't quite right, because now it just feels like that arrow is just lower. So instead, let's just make it take a little bit longer. Just a little bit. And I think that will feel a little bit nicer. Offset the entire flow of this one. So like right here, I kind of want them to be the same. I don't know, man. I think the offset might just be the wrong call for this. I thought it would look nice, but it just looks like they're sticking together, but one is first. So now let's animate the letters going up further. So we can just take all of these and they finish settling in right here. Updating Fortnite, the Imposters game mode offers. What? Okay. Okay. Actually, I think I'm max level for unlocking cosmetics. I think I just need to do purple challenges to get the Superman styles, since I bought levels this season. Okay, so right here, go over 1 frame after the letters sort of settle. Insert location. 200 is the max you need this season for cosmetics. Then I'm already past that. I'm at like 205 or something. So let's say it'll take about that long, which we can always experiment with. And they need to reach about the top of the frame. So if they get the alien stuff, that's fair. Insert location rotation. Oh, that's really fast. many frames is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 20. Let's do like 15 more frames. That should look pretty good. And we're gonna go to the graph editor here. And we're gonna make this not ease out, just ease in. So they'll sort of like float up like that. And then we'll offset the letters, of course. And then we also want them to scale out. So now we can unhide everything, look at the scale channels. Are those all scale channels? Yeah, I guess so. Oh yeah, they're not offset anymore for this part yet. And we want to make this more of a linear. Maybe even take longer. Like really ease. Okay. So now we're gonna go back to the Y location for these and we're gonna raise that so that the letters actually go pretty high by the time they scale out. Something like that. $60 plus to 200. Still have to get the alien stuff. So I don't know how practical that is or not. I'm not super worried about getting all the alien stuff. It would be nice to have, but I also don't really have like the irk or the inkling to really want to play, if that makes sense. So now we want to offset the letters some from this since they are not currently offset. I keep hitting the wrong button. So I want to just select the letters and then let's offset these by like 2 frames, maybe. And then we can have these sort of start earlier too. It's like right when the oh, we also want these to, so we can, is that only, that's only offset by 1, so that's not gonna work out for me. Let's have the arrows start a little bit later, so we can have a little more time to work with here. Speed up. Having a lot of fun with friends, but that's more for the conversations. Yeah, that's right. I don't have a lot of people to play with. Nobody posts in the Fortnite Buddies Discord anymore that often. I guess because I didn't play for so long. Oh my god. My friend's been posting, I'm going to Halloween Horror Nights later this year at Universal. They supposedly have pretty good safety in place. she's been posting like pictures of the food they have coming. That looks pretty unhealthy but delicious. What is that? Is it like a donut with like donut slider, bacon jam, and cheddar cheese sauce on a bourbon glazed donut? That sounds pretty good. I would eat it. I'm trying to lose weight before I go on this trip so I look good in the pictures, but I'm gonna gain all of that weight back that week. And see some of the other pictures that looked good. So there's another, oh, these were from the chicken sandwich shop that, yeah, that looks really good. This restaurant opened early at Universal this year, and then this is apparently a classic for Halloween Horror Nights. It's these twisted taters. So they like take a potato and spiral it and put it on a stick, and then they put all these different toppings on it. Looks really good. I'm excited. It's gonna be a really fun week. Looks like an artery clogger. Hell yeah, man. I'm gonna be walking enough each day for it not to really matter, I think. I've got my smartwatch to calculate my steps. Okay, let's get back to animating this. I think we want the S to start even earlier. God, I hate to say it. And we want the D to start basically at the same time as the S, I think. So we might even have to offset the D settling down some. Speed up. So like right here is where we really want it to start. So maybe the D doesn't get like any time to settle down. Out of context, man. That looks pretty good. Speed up. Speed up. And then this E. I think we're fine with it trailing behind all the way. So it's like a centered thing. And the D, I think we can offset that a little bit more. Let's see how this looks in practice. Maybe 2 frames. Loved the Harry Potter stuff at Universal when you went years ago. I think they've added more since then too. When did you go? That looks pretty good to me. I think we can maybe go back to the graph editor here. Make these match the arrows a bit more for how high they go. Speed up. First time you heard someone telling the D to settle down. Oh god, I don't know if I have the delay on this set to extreme latency, low latency. I need to set it to ultra low so it's more real-time talking to people. I don't expect a lot of people to show up to development streams though. Most people here for like the chill games and stuff. But I just figured it's a good way to stay focused. Speed up. Maybe we can offset this middle E even a little bit more. And then since these are going higher now, I think we can offset all of them. That last D, since we changed the actual animation of that, we're gonna offset that a little bit differently. So now we can just something like that. That looks pretty cool. And this is just supposed to be like a nice touch to the game. When you go to the tunnel, it's gonna be like, speed up. Just adds to the polish of the game. Alright, so now I'm gonna render this out. Editing drive, punch bomb. Today is 2021, 08/24. God, it's been a couple days since I've worked on this, huh? I didn't work on it Sunday or Monday, I guess. So this is gonna be text animation 01.mp4. And then we're going to take this, unwrap it, and texture it so it'll look nice and neat for the game. Continues to boggle your mind how Epic Games rewards you more XP for being AFK or playing new game modes than Battle Royale. It's nuts how like little XP Battle Royale gives you. I guess they knew people were camping in bushes to get XP back in Chapter 1. I think we can offset the letters just a little bit more. Let's select those. Maybe it's not how much they're offset. Maybe it's how much they're eased. I think that's what it is. Let's go back to the graph editor here and work on the easing for that. So here we go. We want these to ease out a bit more, I think. Which, yikes for all of this nonsense. Which handle is still selected? Right here. Right here. Right here. There's still one handle over here. God damn it. I also realized that people like you used to grind next to you by opening chests and ammo boxes in Team Rumble. Was that really a thing? Where is the last one that is going the wrong way? So I don't want to do each of these individually, because then I end up with them all slightly different, which is not great. Okay, where is the handle that is animating? I mean, we only want to animate the right handles. Okay. We're gonna have to do these individually, I think. Which is gonna suck. But we want this to sort of ease more. Which one is this? This is the S. We can honestly just scale you out. Still works, but now they focus you into a small circle at the beginning of the game. Oh, I noticed that. I tried Team Rumble once recently. It was not bueno. I have to do each of these individually. That's such a pain. But now they'll sort of ease up more. Not like ease up like they were causing problems, ease up like take longer to sort of start to animate, which is what you really want. I just didn't want to have to do each of these letters individually because now it's going to be really hard to match them. So now okay, so now let's try that. Speed it up. I think we can. Something is messed up on one of these graphs. Here, let me take a look. What did I mess up? Oh, this isn't settling in anymore. How did that happen? It's not all of them that happened. Just some of them. Speed up. Speed up. Have these happen a little bit later, I think. Cess is here. What's up, dude? How's life? This happens like a couple frames later. I think I kind of want these staggered so that this E happens before that E. So let's try that. And have this one start here. I don't know why these are timed differently. Busy, I understand that. Try that. See what that looks like. Nah, I think I don't know. I think I liked it better when it was all just, yeah, centered. So I'm going to export this as an animation and post it on Twitter to tell people that I'm still working on this and they can come hang out if they want to. What you been busy with, man? Just out of curiosity. And then I don't think Twitter accepts 90 frames per second. So I might have to render this out and then convert it to 60 frames per second in Premiere. We want to go back to timeline. What is the hotkey for that? Should be Shift F12. There we go. So we want to set the final frame to 130. Speed up. And then let's zoom the camera in just a little bit. Nice. And then I'll add a nice baby. I didn't know you had a baby. When did that happen? God, where did life go? You got a wife and a baby? I'm still just sitting here alone in my apartment. Jesus. Holy crap. Wow, where did life go? When did all that happen? We're gonna save this as it'll happen to you too. I'm not too worried about it. I have accepted that I was supposed to die in 2018, and I'm just kind of sort of waiting for the universe to catch up. H264, MPEG 4, no audio. Blink, and you have a 7-month-old? I'm not expecting anything to happen. I don't need it to. Okay, so now we want to viewport render animation. Text animation 001.mp4. That seems correct. Let me save this real quick so it doesn't crash. And with that, I'll be right back. You're thankful that I'm alive? I don't know how I feel about it, but it is what it is. So I'm gonna keep trying things. I post this on Twitter, but I think I have to convert it to 60 frames per second first. I can't just set it to 60 frames per second in Blender because then the time doesn't scale. So it'll animate a lot slower. Animation looking professional as fuck though. Thank you. I'm just trying to add some production value to my game. That's all I got going for me. This is just, I don't know if you saw the tunnel that I posted or not. I'm not bummed out. I've just accepted that I'm not supposed to be here. The universe doesn't want me to accomplish anything, and I'm supposed to be dead. That's not like a negative thing in my opinion. It's just what it just be like that. I'm not really bummed out anymore over it. I was for a while. Now I'm just sort of chilling here waiting and working on things while I wait. 2021 08 24. That's not meant to be negative. Yeah, so Punch Bomb never came out of early access. I never finished the final mode, so that's what I'm doing right now. So like the energy tunnel that I posted the other day, for instance. I have a fog actor in here. Oh man, it's overlapping with itself. What is happening? Look at that. Looks so good. I'm pretty happy with this. This is the map segment where the player speeds up. I'm gonna have like particles flying past them as well. And then the text animation that I'm working on right now. And then I can piece it all together and add the code to actually make the person speed up. I also need to texture the end caps for this, which should be trivial. Okay, so that. Oh, I also replaced the, the lighting with a rainbow for ultimate gamer mode. Dope. Okay, let me make a new sequence here. Sequence settings, set this to 60 frames per second. End vision for Punch Bomb whenever I finish this game mode. So this game mode, the original vision for it was to have a player go through a procedurally generated stage. Yeah, I need to set this stream to ultra low latency next time, so there's less delay between me talking and the chat. But the vision was to have like 9 procedurally generated stages and then a boss fight. But all of the stuff I wanted to do for that is like way like scope creep, man. Way out of scope for one person to tackle, especially a really complicated boss fight. Which I had a cool boss designed for it years ago. I was actually really proud of the animations for this guy. I'm gonna find a place to use him somewhere. You might even remember this guy. I thought he was pretty cool. I could probably make a better looking one now, but the animation here and the scale of it felt very cool. But I decided to turn this into an infinite mode, so it just goes on and on and on, and you try to get the highest score you can until you die. So it's kind of like Temple Run in a space station, but VR, so you have to actually physically duck and dodge things and punch things. And it speeds up every so often. Anyway, I'm gonna post this on Twitter. I'll export media. That boss fight looks incredible. It was boring to play though, and I couldn't. I'm not a talented enough game developer or knowledgeable enough game developer to make it feel fun. It looks cool, but it did not feel fun. It felt very boring in practice. Like visually, it was pretty fucking cool having a giant robot pop up like that. So I'm definitely gonna find a place to use him, just not for a boss fight. Complicated, actually fun boss fight is out of the scope for me as a solo developer. I need to accept my limitations. Working on some game assets on stream now. We just animated this dope text. Now it's time to texture it. Come hang out if you want to. Okay, let me editing drive, punchbomb dev, speed up Twitter, and then copy live stream link. Come hang out if you want to. Hashtag B3D, hashtag UE4, hashtag indie dev. Indie dev or game dev? I think game dev probably more used. You never want to use more than 3 hashtags on Twitter or else it really affects your SEO. All right, let's texture this bad boy. So for that, we need to unwrap the text, and then we're gonna take it into Substance Painter where we can make it look all grungy and fit in with the game. So for that, we wanna put this back in its default pose, and we want to unwrap it, which unwrapping is gonna look like a complicated process, but I promise it's not. It's literally just so, if you're familiar with papercraft, like taking, you know what papercraft is, where you like print out like a thing and there are like instructions to fold it into a 3D object on paper. It's that, but in 3D. You take a 3D object, you cut it up and lay it out in 2D space, and then you take it into a texturing tool so you can actually texture it, and it knows how to wrap a 2D image to a 3D object. So for this, we're going to unwrap this, and text is super easy to unwrap. We're literally just gonna select the edges here. The outside edges, deselect the faces, cut some seams. Oh, we want to go to edge select mode though. Deselect all of the interior edges. Like so. We can probably do this from the front, honestly, so we get the front and back at the same time. That's the smarter way to do it. And then some really fucking smart programming wizards have created software that packs your UV islands as tightly as possible on the image. If you think about it, the reason you want to... I'm getting ahead of myself here. Anyway, I'm going to mark a seam. That's going to do nothing right now, because I do not have auto unwrap on. UV. So then we go to U unwrap, and we want to set that to... Oh, I'm not even in the right thing here. Oh, there we go. This is what it looks like when you cut it up and it tries to lay it out. Some of these we need to cut further. You'll notice because they look all stretched and distorted and weird. So, have I ever played Risk of Rain 2, Binding of Isaac, Enter the Gungeon? I played Binding of Isaac and I'm familiar with Risk of Rain 2, but have not played it. Okay, so I know boss fights can be done well by a solo developer or a small dev team. Like Hollow Knight has some really good boss fights. That's a lot harder to do in VR where you can't like jump around and make it interesting. And then I had the problem, so while I was working on it, I had like these animations of him sweeping his hand across, of him punching it, and you end up punching his fist back at him. But the other problem is a giant robot like that. If you make him animate too fast, it doesn't feel appropriate for his scale. So there's only so fast I could make him and have it feel realistic enough. I don't know. I had a whole bunch of problems with it, and like chaining together the actions and stuff was really complicated. Maybe someday on another project. For now, I have the plan for this game mode, and I'm gonna go with it. Maybe if this game ever picks up and people actually buy it, then I'll add stuff like that to it. I don't have a whole lot of motivation for really complicated stuff though. Like my only motivation for this game right now isn't even to sell copies of it. It's just to say that I finished it. Anyway, tool. God, where is that option? Live unwrap is what we want. So now whenever we cut a seam, it'll automatically unwrap the islands rather than having to manually hit it. So if we mark a seam, bam, it unwraps. That is a beautiful option. So then also, another option we have is to, if we control select, it'll automatically select the shortest path. But if you change this to tag seam, now if you select edges, it'll automatically tag a seam between them, which is super nice. These are like the tricks of the trade. Side projects that never get done are your specialty. I just want to be able to say I finished it, you know? So this past year has been mentally rough for me, feeling like I'm a failure, like nothing I do takes off, nobody cares about the stuff I work on, blah, 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 all this mental illness bullshit. So I realized one thing that I absolutely do have control over in my life is whether I finish this fucking game or not. Whether people buy it or not, that's up to them. But just finishing it will remove such a weight off my shoulders and it'll feel good. That's one thing that I have complete control over that will feel good in my life. So god damn it, I'm gonna do it. Anyway, I want to mark these seams so these fan out like this. Notice here, if I like select this edge, that is this part of this arrow. So if we mark that seam, now it's gonna straighten out. It's gonna look a whole lot better. That's the point of unwrapping this and cutting seams. And like I said, text is a whole lot easier to unwrap than something like an organic character. Because like hiding seams on characters, that's really hard. But hiding seams on geometric shaped objects like this, super easy. Like nobody's ever gonna notice a texture seam in like a 90-degree corner. It's great. Makes life so easy here. You should see some of the UV maps for some of the other stuff I've done though. I can even show you that in a second. Sharp corners, people also aren't going to notice the seam because it's a sharp corner. They're going to think it's on purpose. And this text goes on screen so fast, nobody even cares anyway. So here we go. This is unwrapped. Now we can see how well this is packed. I have a tool that I bought called UV Pack Master. This is like the most brilliant use of money I could ever recommend any 3D artist spend. It's amazing. You just hit pack, automatically packs the islands out ideally. And if you don't think it's precise enough or good enough, you can just up the precision to like 1,000, and you can have it try a whole bunch of times too. So if you go to heuristic, you can say search for packing options for 5 seconds and choose the best one. So it'll try all these different options until it gets the best pack over 5 seconds. And so this is the tightest it can pack these islands. And the reason you want to pack these islands this tightly is because picture this square as like a 2000 pixel by 2000 pixel image. If the island is super small, like right here, it's not getting a whole lot of pixels and it's going to look really low resolution when you put it on the model. So that's the reason you want to pack your islands as tight as possible. You want to give each part of the model as many pixels as you can. Anyway, we're going to fix some of these triangulation issues. Unwrap. Let's pack it one more time. Give it a second to figure it out. So 1 second. Looks like that is the best packing option we can get. So now, if we take our armature and set that to the rest position, also let's take this and move it back to the center of the scene real quick. So you can do file, export, FBX. That's the format that Substance Painter likes to take. And we're gonna call this T2 speed up text.fbx. So we only want to do selected objects, mesh, then geometry. We want to do face for smoothing, and we want Z to be up since Z is up in Blender. What's up, Benzalot? How's the life, sir? How have you been? So if we export the FBX now and Recently, Adobe bought Substance Painter, so now it's part of the Creative Cloud, but it's not part of the all apps package on the Creative Cloud. You still have to pay extra for it, which is dumb as shit. Anyway, Adobe bought Substance Painter, so now it's always up to date, which is really nice. I never have to worry about updating it or the license dialog popping up or anything. It's just part of the Adobe Creative Cloud, which is super nice. I'm a fan of the cloud. A lot of people aren't a fan of subscription services, but I like that they don't even have versions for software anymore. They just ship updates as they make them. It's great. I think it's great. We're gonna make a new file here. We're going to select our text, T2 speed up text. Hit OK. Doing good. Awesome. Glad to hear it. Layers. I missed streaming, so I figured I could just stream working on my game since that's what I want to get done in life right now. We want to bake the maps. This tells the model like where the corners are, which direction is up and down and all that stuff, which is useful for like the dirt filters and stuff we're about to use later. So now I'm going to hit bake selected textures. It's going to bake all of these different maps for us. Notice all these different maps that it just created. It created a normal map, a world space normal map, so it knows where it is in the world. Position, curvature, thickness, all of that good stuff. Whoops. So, yeah, our normals are flipped the wrong way. Each face in 3D has a direction that it is facing. And I didn't check that direction before we exported it. You can look at that right here. You'll notice that this face, if we scale those down some, the blue lines are the direction that the face is facing. So you can see if we take this face, it is facing into itself. Really tired with schoolwork and other responsibilities and trying to squeeze some semblance of a social life through the cracks. I feel that, dude. My social life, I'd actually highly recommend this. If you're not into this sort of thing, that's fine too. But a really good way to socialize is to find a local game store and learn how to play either Dungeons and Dragons or Magic the Gathering. Like, I just go to my local game store on Sundays lately, and it's been a whole lot of fun and a really, really good way to just like relax on Sundays. It's been a good time. It's a really good way to meet people with similar interests too, if you're into like the whole board and card game kind of thing. No girls. Very, very, very much no girls. But like, I don't even care at this point. Okay, we fixed our normals. Now we're gonna have to re-unwrap this, because you're gonna notice our letters are backwards here because they were unwrapped wrong, or they were inverted for the normals. We're gonna repack this. Fortunately, that's really easy for us to do. We hit File, Export, FBX. You can save this as the exact same thing. Go back into Painter, Edit, Project Configuration, reselect that. Okay. Now our letters are facing the right way, but you'll notice that the baked textures are wrong since this is all reorganized. So we just have to rebake these textures, and everything will look great. Just like that. Cool. So now you'll notice that didn't add much other than like a little bit of occlusion shading, but it gives the software all of this data now, which is great. I also want to bake a bevel into this, I think. Let's do that. So to do that, we're going to duplicate the text and we're going to bevel it. No. Okay, so we're going to delete the armature requirement here. We can hide everything except for the text objects. So this one, we want to add a bevel modifier, and we'll base it on the angle. We'll say anything above 45 degrees will get beveled. So if we look at this, that's way too much beveling. So we're going to turn this down a whole bunch. We'll turn up the amount of segments here. That looks cool. It just makes the text catch the light a little bit better, you know? Just adds that extra pizzazz. Okay, so with that extra pizzazz, now we can hide this again. select our text. We're going to create a new material. Just call this text material. We actually didn't have one when we exported it, which might cause issues with Substance Painter. Looks like it created a default one for us, which is cool. I feel you being tired though. Been's a lot. Sessions I've been pulling overtime at work a lot this past weeks. It's been rough. Trying to get you a girlfriend. Pretty much every time you try to plan something, get invited to something, there's a scheduling conflict. That's unfortunate. I don't actually know how old you are. Are you like allowed to use Tinder or Bumble yet? Dating apps are great. I mean, I hate them with a passion, but they're great for actually meeting people. I went on a date last week, but I didn't hear back from her, so I think that's shot. I shot my shot and that didn't work out. As per usual, nothing new here. Go to our material editor, Shift F3. Want to wrong editor. There we go. A lot of these editors have the same hotkey to get to. A year short. You still got plenty of time. That's the good news. So we want to add a texture, image texture, and we also want to create an image texture for it to use. So we're gonna go to image editor, image new. We'll call this text speed up underscore norm for normal map. Make it a 2K texture because there's no reason for us not to. We can always scale it down later in post. Select that. Image, save as. And we'll call this T2 text norm.png. Cool. And then we just say select you. Go to our renderer, set that to cycles, go to bake. We want to say normal, selected to active, and that should work. So this is taking the light, how the light hits the surface, and baking it to this, although that's odd. Insert is pretty odd. Why are we getting artifacts there? That's the question. Tangent space normal is what we want. Selected to active. Max array distance. So it's just like 0.1. Try bake that. I don't know why we're getting artifacts here. That's odd to me. It is getting the beveled edges nicely. But I don't know why we're getting these artifacts. Inflate the active object by the specified distance for baking. This helps matching to points nearer to the outside of the selected meshes. Let's try that. Texture break. Is that going to give us any different results? It does. Okay, that fixes it, it looks like, for the most part. Let's see if we can get away with a smaller extrusion, like 0.05. Try that. Yeah, that works. Okay, cool. So now we can image, save. Go into Painter. Let me go find my thing. Documents. Another problem I've been having is, God, I was so disorganized when I made this game. I have all these billions of folders and have no idea where anything is. Maps, descend, individual pieces, transitions, transition 2. We want to grab speed up text. I'm going to grab our normal map, and we want to plug that as a texture into this project. So now we take that and we put it on our normal. And now, the light, now we sort of have like these simulated bent edges. Not perfect, even close to perfect, jeez. But from a distance, looks nice. It catches the light a little bit on the edges there. I wonder if baking this in Substance will give us better results though. Let's try that. File, export, FBX. We do want to apply modifiers. It does that already. Speed up text. Underscore. Hi. It'll be curious to see if Blender's better at baking or if Painter is. You miss chilling in streams? I miss streaming. I just figured, I don't know. I was telling Miles, I don't know if I already told you. I don't know if you heard when I was explaining that. Just like the whole, I just want to feel like I finished something. Like I need a win in my life, and an easy win right now is finishing this fucking game. Not an easy win, but it's a win. Just getting that weight off my shoulders of never having actually finished it. Okay, so we can say bake mesh maps. Let's grab our high definition mesh. Oh, is that one flipped on normals? No, those normals are facing the correct direction. Nice. Okay. So we're high definition mesh. Now we can bake. And let's see how this does with the beveled edges. Oh, that looks way better. Good job, Substance Painter. Holy shit. Look at that. Looks great. So like just as a refresher, these are completely sharp edges. They just look curved because I baked normal matte to it. God, that's nice. Let's make those even a little bit more curved. Hell yeah. Here, let's like maybe 0.015. Let's try that. That looks pretty good. Hell yeah. Oh, let's I'll actually try to get to Champs and Arena next season. Hell yeah. Undo what I just did. Unhide our dude. Oh wait, no. I was correct. Q. Sharpen, and that'll automatically detect the edges and sharpen them. So now we don't have, yeah, look at that, the flat faces look flatter, which is nice. So let's export this as our high resolution, and let's make this maybe even 0.02, since Substance Painter seems to be doing a really good job with that. Okay, maybe like 0.0175. I'm so picky. I'd be down to play Arena with you at some point if you want to, TARDIS man. I would love that. Let me demark any edges that shouldn't have been marked. Cool. Okay, so now file, export, FBX, speed up text. Okay, maybe not quite that curve. Maybe like 0.015 was correct. I know it's like very minuscule, but it's important to me. Not worried about it. You just need something to break things up. Just run around every day is draining. You still do the same job? It was sandwiches, right? Or are you doing different stuff now? Speed up text high, export, edit, big mesh maps, big, bam. Oh, look at that. Oh, it's gorgeous. Oh, it's gorgeous. Look at that. That's not even a bent surface. That is beautiful. God, these guys are witchcraft workers. Okay. God, that's cool. Different job, but still sandwiches. Nice, I guess. One other thing. This is sharp. We're gonna have to rebake that one more time. Let me make sure nothing else that's not supposed to be sharp. Are you like a sandwich expert now? Like a sandwich artist? Since you have a lot of experience with it? Okay, bake. Reselect it just to make sure. Bake. And then that should fix the normals there. Just look at that. Okay, so now we're gonna use the default materials that I've been using on these kinds of things just to stay consistent within the project. I would do things differently now if I was recreating this project from scratch. But one of the materials I've used a whole lot is this machinery material. It's the reason you bake materials is so it knows where to put the rust and grime and stuff. Okay, so for this, we don't want a whole lot of rust. We want to really tone that down. You'll make a ham sandwich that makes Gordon Ramsay tremble in a good way? I've seen Gordon Ramsay tremble plenty of times, but it was never for good reasons. So we want the rust and dirt to be extremely subtle. Since we can turn down the occlusion and just have like these occasional rust splotches here. But it's shiny. Look how shiny that is. It's nice. And then we can go ahead and get rid of the dust. And then to match the aesthetic of the rest of the game, this is the one material I would really change. I've been using this steel gun material everywhere in this game, and I would change that now. And we want to add a black mask to this. Select by UVs, and we want to give this to the edges. And that's actually looking pretty good. In my humble opinion. And a good, otherwise the last 4 years of your life are a waste. Have you ever watched like Hotel Nightmares and stuff where Gordon would, or God, what was the one where he would go to other people's restaurants that invited him and he would just like tear them apart? He'd be like, "You suck." This is already looking pretty cool. I like having a brand new YouTube channel dedicated just to doing art stuff. I'm not partnered or anything, but like nobody's gonna ask me to play Fortnite. Good feeling. Okay, this looks pretty cool to me. Probably want to match the yellows to the map, or make it. You want to make this glow? Maybe? Kitchen Hell? Was it? Not, yeah, because it's not Hell's Kitchen. List of Gordon Ramsay shows. Let's see if we can find that. Kitchen Nightmares was it. Kitchen Nightmares, that was a great show. Yeah. I know the delay is a little bit high right now because I forgot to turn this to ultra low latency, so like the speaking delay is a little bit high. But like, I totally looked this up before you typed that in the chat. I promise. I'm not a fake. I'm not a phony. Okay, so we probably want the text to emit a little bit, like to be a little bit bright. So let's do that. So we're gonna add, under our textures, we're going to add an emission channel. Also, I want to save this before I lose this progress. So we'll call this T2 speed up text. T2 for transition 2. You'll believe me. Got him. No, I did actually look it up beforehand, I promise. Okay, so for this, what we're gonna do, I think there's a way to do this easily too. We're gonna add a new paint layer. It's only gonna affect the emissive channel. Oh, I didn't actually add the channel. We want to add emissive. So this layer right here is not gonna affect anything except for the emission channel. And we actually want to put this below the rust. And we want this to affect the emissive channel as well. If we can. Maybe not. Anyway, so for this, we are going to make the emission like a bright yellow. Like so. And then we'll add a black mask. We'll say it's only gonna affect the faces of the letters. And then we're gonna add some nice blur here as well. So for this, we're gonna use a trick, hopefully, called bevel. You can do a lot of tricks just with filters in Substance Painters. It's bonkers. I don't know why this is still up here. Interesting. Anyway, we have our bevel, parameters, distance. We want to sort of like glow inward like that. So it feels like it's being lit up by LEDs. What's up, Banana? Welcome back. So I'm gonna bevel this like all the way in and up the smoothing. So it feels like it's being lit from within, kind of. And I think we can mess with the color of the emission as well, and the color of the base material here. We turn the value of the base material down. Then mess with the emission. And then we're gonna mess with the bevel some. And we can look at individual channels here. So we're gonna cycle to the emission channel just to see what that's looking like. Because we just want like, we just want it to be like the light is emitting and bouncing around inside of it, so it's not like all the way to the edges full on. I think that looks pretty cool. Looks a little bit green though. So I'm gonna make it a little more orange. Okay, let's take a look at that channel. For anybody who's unaware of texturing in 3D space, it's all done based on channels. Okay, so now to get the light not coming through the rust, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna make a brand new fill layer. We're gonna have it affect the emission. It's gonna be a black emissive. And we're going to copy this mask. Say add a black mask and then paste into mask. So now we get the emission, but it's not affecting like the rust splotches that we have. So it's cool. Sick. Ah, my headphones are caught in my chair. Okay, so now this looks pretty good to me, at least good enough for a first pass. I can always come back to it later. So now we do save, file, export textures. You want to make sure you export for Unreal Engine. It works in specific ways, you know? You know. And we want to choose a folder for this. We're going to put this under Documents, Game Design, Punch Bomb, Maps, Descend, which is now called Transport, so that's confusing. Transitions, Transition 2, Speed Up Text. Select folder. We also want to save those settings, but we want to name this as Speed Text. So now, if we do File, Export Textures, when it exports, it'll be, we want this to just be, we don't want it to be mesh texture set, we just want it to be texture set. Texture set is this name right here. So now if I go to exports, will just be speed text base color, speed text emissive, speed text normal map, speed text occlusion roughness and metallic. So materials in 3D can, like objects, in any object's material can be described by a few different properties. I've mentioned this a few times on streams before, but what color is the object? How rough is the object? Is it rough or is it smooth? Is the object metallic or not? If it's metallic, it interacts with light differently than if it's not metallic. And how bumpy is it? That's going to be the normal map. Then we're also adding in the emissive texture here, so it appears as though it's emitting light. But that's not applicable to every single object. So we're going to export these texture maps. Come back into Blender, take a look at this. And let's work on the material. So if we hop over to our material editor here, we can actually get rid of that right there. This guy is the wrong one. We want to grab our low resolution one that is unwrapped properly. These fools voted for you as the imposter, and you did take the L because you presented clear evidence that you were an agent. I feel like you need like pillow fort strat in Among Us style games. Like the less you say, the less suspicious you are. David is messaging me. Okay, back to it. Let me find my chat window. There it is. Fortnite version does not have game chat either, so most of them are probably 10. Wait, you can't talk to the people? Wait, is it voice chat then? Oh, okay, so they have voice chat, but not like text chat. I see what you're saying. All right, anyway, let's get back to making this material. I need to open the folder. These are all of our different textures. We have our normal map, roughness, emissive, and base color. We can drag these in one at a time because Blender's a little bit dumb. So base color goes in the base color slot. Looks like that. Looking good. We also want to change the color space for this document to be standard. Like so. So right now we don't have any lights on this. So we can, let me unhide everything real quick. And then we put some of these in the nope collection. All right, cool. So that's our color map. Where did our light go? Here's our light. We're gonna turn this into a sun. Only if it's a private game. So you can have like a private lobby and just play with your friends. That's pretty cool. I heard they did a pretty good job with it overall, compared to like the actual Among Us game. So that sun is really fucking bright. Different lights require different brightness values in Blender. Suns you want to keep under 5 generally. So this is looking pretty cool already just with the base color, but now we're gonna add our occlusion, roughness, and metallic map, which is how this works. They realized since roughness map and metallic map, those are just black and white values on the texture. White is yes, it's metallic. Black is no, it's not. White is yes, it's very rough. Black is no, it's not. Everything in between is in between. So they figured out that you can put each of those texture maps on one channel of one image, and you can save a whole lot of hard drive space that way. So the red channel is occlusion of this map, the green channel is roughness, and the blue channel is metallic. So if I go to converter, separate RGB, now each of these is its own texture map. Among Us reached out to Fortnite, but Epic Games did not respond and made their own. I saw one of the developers respond on Twitter though, saying like they didn't copy them. It's an established kind of It's an established genre. It's not like Among Us invented it. Like Werewolves and Mafia were card games that did the same thing before Among Us. So it's not like they stole the game. Just like everybody who says Fortnite stole from PUBG, maybe they were inspired by PUBG, but like at the end of the day, PUBG did not invent Battle Royale as a genre. So there's nothing wrong with just adding to the genre. Occlusion, roughness, and metallic. And now we need to add like the hidden imposter. That was a genre well before Among Us, with games like Werewolves and Mafia, which were card games. It's been done. Everything's been done. The developer's tweet was something along the lines of, when the elevator pitch for a game is saying is using other games to describe your game, then you don't really have anything original there. Like, there's nothing that they ripped off. So now we need our normal map. Oh wait, I grabbed the wrong one. Speed text normal. We want to put this through a vector normal map and make sure this is set to non-color. But there's something tricky here. Unreal uses either DirectX or which one does it use? Yeah, it uses DirectX normals, while Blender uses OpenGL normals, which means you have to flip the green channel. A lot of people don't know that. So we need to separate the RGB, then combine the RGB. So red and blue are unaffected by this, but we need an invert for the green channel. Plug that into our normal map. Now we have our shiny light catching normal map edges, which look great. And we have our text. So cool. So let's change the engine back to Eevee. Oh, we can also go ahead and plug in our so that's looking good. Let's go ahead and add a nice environment texture as well, just for the pretty rindas. We can go to environment texture, go to documents. I think I have these under resources. Oh wait, no. Where do I put this? Documents, game design. Damon, how have you been? I decided to make a new YouTube channel just for streaming art stuff. I realized not as many people will show up, but less people will ask me if I remember Unspeakable or if I'll play Fortnite. Well, I just want to work on my game. I missed you too, man. So anyway, we want to go to, where did I put that? Under, I think I put it under maps. Thank you for the subscription. Oh shoot, that's behind the chat. Whoops. That's my bad. Holly's here too. Holy crap. Isn't it like super late for you? Where did I put this? Just send individual pieces. Transport. Jesus. HDRI Haven. I'm just gonna re-download. Screw it. God, I have this transport. I have this saved in so many places. It's only 340. Jesus Christ. Always one person asking about Unspeakable, yeah. Every single time. So this is a really good website where you can get free high dynamic range images to use as an environment map. HDRI is high dynamic range image. That means it's you can have whites brighter than whites, essentially, which means you can use the image for lighting and especially reflections. But they're 360-degree images, which is really cool. So we're gonna go to the, but this website gives away a whole bunch of them for free. Creative Commons 0, which means you can use it for commercial work for free for whatever you want. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab the indoor one that I really like. Oh, wait, these are taken. Oh shit, I recognize that name. That's a Blender guy. There's this Skylit Garage is a really good one. So you want to download just like a 4K. Yeah, there we go. Grab that. Oh, they gave me an EXR, I want an HDR. Might be. So then I want to make sure I know where this is now. Flex. God, 3:45. Why aren't you asleep? I was gonna stream earlier tonight, but I had to pull overtime at work. I was also gonna stream yesterday. I wanted to start this week doing development streams as often as I can when I'm working on the game. But I was just exhausted last night, so I didn't. So this YouTube channel is gonna be a no obligations, no guarantees. Just I'm gonna stream when I feel like it, which should be most of the time that I'm working on my game, which is a lot of nights lately. So I really want to get this done. For anybody who missed it, I made a cool thing. This is the map segment that we're working on. Not sure why there are two of them here, but it's like this like energy tunnel where the player speeds up. So today we're working on. Let me grab this HDR and then I'll show you. Anyway, documents. Going back to bed in a minute. Just want to drop in and say hi. Well, hello. I'm glad to see you, Holly. I don't want to keep you awake or anything. I do want to show you what I'm working on real quick before you head out though. Where is Super Chat? I'm not partnered on this channel. No obligations. Maps, descend. I also don't have a donation link for Streamlabs for this channel right now because I didn't set it up. I don't want money at the moment. Pieces on. I'll just put it like right here. I think is fine. Skylit Garage. So I'm gonna grab that. Now we have an environment map, and then let's grab our emission texture as well, and plug that into the emission. Now it's lit up. Cool. So what we're working on, I'll show you the animation before you go to bed real quick. Put this back in pose position, move this up. Oh man. Put this in front of the camera. And then set the background to transparent. I'm just using it for lighting. This is what we're working on. It's like a speed up text animation. So when the player's in the speed up tunnel, it'll play that and be like, hey, you're speeding up. Neat. I feel like the arrows might need to be a different color. Maybe make the arrows like a green or something just to stand out. So when the player is on the tunnel, in the tunnel, this so like this is the track. It's an on the rails mode where the player has to like duck and dodge things. Picture like Temple Run in space with way cooler graphics, and you have to actually physically duck and dodge things because it's VR. That's what this is. So when they're in this tunnel is when it speeds up after each segment, and the speed up text is going to play, and I also need to work on a particle animation for this as well. But I'm really proud of how this tunnel came out. I think it looks really cool. Does Gatorade have caffeine? I don't think so. It has electrolytes. So many electrolytes your body can't even handle. Cool. This looks yeah, I think the arrows should be green. Let's try that. So we're going to group all of these for yellow text, although just these two because the steel gun mat needs to stay. So then we can duplicate this and call this green text. We can turn off the yellow text temporarily and just change the colors to see what this looks like if we set it to green. So make this a nice dark-ish green. And then set the emission to green. Where's our emissive? Where did that go? Oh, right. It's literally here. Duh. So set the emissive to green. Can you make this a little bit darker? Got them beats. Can't wait to play Punch Bomb when it's finished. It's already purchasable on Steam in early access, but it's VR. You need a VR headset, and it's not compatible with Quest right now either. I would wait until it's done personally. It'll be pretty dope, sick, nasty, ill when it's done. Alright, so let's try that. And we will now add a black mask to the yellow text. Set it only to the letters. And then the green text will only be on the arrows. I think having that contrast will definitely be nice. They look kind of like trees now. You'll buy a VR headset just to play. Oh, I wouldn't. That's like spending $400 on a device to play a $7 game. Friend told me to check out this VR FPS that offers different modes. Because I think it's similar to the game that he just released. Yeah, unfortunately, it's unfortunate wave shooters. There are just so many of them, it's hard to compete there. I have a new match on Bumble? What? I screwed up my message last night. She didn't respond again. I think I was too wordy. Also, let me make sure I'm not missing any chat. To play a pretty cool $7 game. Peace out, Sess. Thanks for hanging out, dude. It's good to hear from you. Always. Glad to hear you're doing well. Dude, it's not letting me get rid of my YouTube. Oh, she's pretty cute if she's a real person. A lot of times people aren't real people on these apps. Oh, she's not verified. She's probably a robot. Probably gonna try to give me her Snapchat. Decided to do 5 APs this year. Yikes. What do you want to do for a living when you get older, man? Anyway, we are making good progress. Let me re-export these textures really quick and see what that looks like. Because I just think the yellow just isn't enough contrast. So... green. I think the green is just enough because it's close enough to yellow. I think I'm going to offset it more into the blues a little bit though. Like closer to blue-green rather than green. And we'll darken up the edges and bevel in the lighting a little bit more. I'm such a perfectionist. So this is what the emission map looks like. We can even add levels to this. Nope, wrong thing. To increase the contrast if you really want to. And then blur it out manually, and I think it might look a bit more natural. Nope, that's fill, not filter. Blur. Now if we blur this. Looks kind of like there's a bright LED in there, but I don't like the way it looks, so we're just going to turn all that off and pretend it didn't happen. Or we can still do the manual blur, but not push it so hard on the levels. I think that looks nice. I think the manual blur looks more natural. Like there's a light bulb in there emitting the surface. So it looks like an actual physical object. Something like that looks pretty cool. Now there's more contrast there as well. And then for this, we'll put it in a folder. Can you not have folders within folders? Dude, I call bullshit. Yeah, you can. Add a black mask to that as well, and still just limit it to the faces again. That looks good. Because it was, when I blurred it, it was starting to bleed over the edges some. You chose AP Computer Science, AP Chem, AP Calculus, AP Physics. Jesus Christ, that sounds like a lot of work. I hope you want to do something with your life that like requires that stuff. Otherwise, you're going to feel like you went through all that stress for nothing. Okay. And then since only the front really matters here, I'm going to go ahead and apply the steel gun material to the back as well. So now it looks like a light box, maybe. I think that looks pretty cool. So save, file, export textures, re-export those, and Blender should automatically load the new versions. It did not. So if we go to Shift F10, open this up, image, reload. Nice. We only care about the emissive and the color. There we go. Going back to sleep, gotta get up and throw up. Jesus Christ, go to bed, Holly. It was really good to hear from you though, and I hope you sleep well and have a good day at work. Or school, whichever it is. Yeah, this looks better. Speed up. That looks pretty good, I think. Good enough for a first pass at least. I can always update it later. What time is it? It's 11. So before I get off tonight, I want to texture the end caps for the tunnel as well. It should be pretty trivial. So let me render this out really quick. I'm gonna go ahead and turn on some motion blur as well. Film, we don't care about transparency. Oh, it's gonna render out the backdrop though. Yeah, it's fine. Just don't worry about it. And then motion blur. Yeah, that's nice. So now, text animation 002.mp4. Control F12, that'll render out. Let's zoom the camera in a little bit more though. So it takes up more of the screen. For Twitter, all about them Twitter likes. It's just a moment. Gonna add a Doctor Who Easter egg to my game. Does it require rights by the BBC? Yeah, I don't want to get in trouble. I could add like something that resembles Doctor Who potentially. File oh right, now I can just hit Control F12. It'll render out the video at 90 frames per second. I'll take it into Premiere to render it out at 60, and then we'll be good to go. Alright, so that should be rendered out now. Let's take that into Premiere. I have this like little, I want to try to get more active on social media for my game. So I've been making folders for each individual day that I post updates, and I post them all to Twitter and Instagram and all that nonsense. Here's the final for tonight. Which you there? Keep settings. You will loop it a few times just for Twitter. Let's loop it 3 times because I don't like even numbers. File. Export. Media. Call this text animation. Speed up _02 _ Twitter. Export. Make sure I'm not missing any chat. When the game ends, reveal what the character you've been playing for 1,000 hours looks like. More important matters, functionality, and whatever you want to do. Fair. The Doctor Who VR game was very fun when I streamed that forever ago, though. Okay, so, you're not really a set person, you're just a pair of floating fists. So, like, I have a message from who? Oh, someone reacted to my story. Okay, so, like, you're a pair of floating fists, but you can customize what your left and right fist are individually. That was a feature I was pretty proud of when I made it at the time. So, like, one of the unlockable fists is, like, feet. And they flop around. Fun stuff, man. This one has great music, too. Oh, yeah, I set this to the right channel. Good stuff. There's these pirate fists. They all have the same hitboxes, so it doesn't really matter. You have the fitness fists. Oh, no, that was... These are... Can't hear it? It's just music. It doesn't matter anyway. Speaking of... Can y'all hear my Spotify music at all? I don't know if the audio channels were set up correctly. I haven't used OBS in forever. It says it's coming through. Fitness mode. Okay, good. So that's all stuff I used to post forever ago. I'm realizing now I don't update Instagram very often. Reacted to my story. Oh, it was like an exclamation point face. Yee, lo-fi. Okay, let's upload this to Twitter. Put it all together, and it looks like this. Onto texturing some other assets. Hashtag UE4, hashtag B3D, hashtag IndieDev. Put it all together and the speed up text animation looks like this. Pretty happy with how this is for now. Beat the Weeping Angels Doctor Who game and plan on getting the other one that comes out. Wait, like a you can hear Spotify music and was able to hear the clip. Nice. Okay, so there were non-VR Doctor Who games that came out. How did I miss that? Gonna have to go study. That is totally understandable. You have a billion AP classes. But I hope you have a great night, man. Lonely Assassins is a mobile game ported to PC and consoles. It's one of those games where you have to complete tasks using an in-game phone. Interesting. Anyway, let me texture these end caps, then we'll call it a night. It was good progress tonight. Really good progress. I'm so happy with how the baked normal map came out. That looks so good. Oh, okay. So this feels a lot slower in viewport. I wonder why that is. It says it's 100 frames per second. Oh, now it feels fast. I don't know. I feel like the animation feels a little bit fast. I'll probably slow it down some when I take it into the engine. But overall, I think it looks pretty good. I think this will look pretty cool in game. So now let's work on texturing those end caps. File, open recent transitions. Here's the energy tunnel. And I need to texture these end caps. Which I think I'm just gonna... I think I'm gonna just fit them both on the same texture map. They're pretty insignificant. Oh, they're gonna have almost no pixels. When it comes out next month, sounds more like a non-VR game that I played. Different villains and a sort of adventure. Cool. It was really cool in VR though. If you ever get a VR headset or get your hands on a VR set. Also, it's almost 11:11. I'm gonna have to make a wish. Let me toggle full screen so we can count down. Gotta make a wish when it's 11:11. Them's be the rules. I don't make them. I made my wish. I had to cover my mouth so y'all couldn't lip sync or lip read. Anyway, I need to texture these end caps. Should be pretty trivial. I'm just going to put the basic black material I've been using on them and then add like a grate in the crevices. Both sides should be more or less the same. That tube's not great there. You know what though? We're going to cheat. We're going to be dirty, rotten cheaters. Where is it? Why is it not showing up? Oh, I know. I see. Because this one. Okay. Yeah, so this tube. What is going on here? Oh, I think I have two objects stacked on top of each other. Edge of Time is one that I played, and the one that will be released is called Edge of Reality. All three, including Lonely Assassins, are developed by Maze 3. They did a really good job on the VR ones, so I hope the non-VR ones are pretty fun. Did you enjoy the mobile port one, the Lonely Assassins? Was it fun? My favorite part of the VR one was looking inside the TARDIS and it actually being bigger on the inside. I have no goddamn clue how they did that with stereoscopic. That was cool. That was very cool. Alright, how do I want to handle this? Because this tube intersects right here. Could we just make both of the end caps a little bit different? Oh, I know what I can do. Okay, so we're gonna delete the old one, take the new one, scale around the 3D cursor, I guess. Scale Shift Y to scale this down. Then do the same for these faces as well. Want it to fit nicely around this pipe. Thought it was fun. Lots of eerie parts with the Weeping Angels, but they're your favorite villains. They are a really, really clever villain design. The Weeping Angels are great. I do feel like they got overused a bit in the Matt Smith arc, but overall, they're a really fun design. Select this little thing. Shorter game, but that's why it's not 60 bucks. I think games are undervalued anyway. People don't understand how much like entertainment they're getting out of games compared to like going to an amusement park for a day. You buy a game, you have it forever. I never understood the complaints about game prices. I think games should be more expensive. I'm a little bit biased. Granted, I think I priced my game a little bit too low just because I was scared of people's reactions. I'll increase the price when I release the final version that has more features. And I think that's fair. Okay, so this is about ready. The problem being, here, I believe I already have these textured somewhere. This specific door interface right here. Let me check that out. Transport, art, transition 1, door frame. Okay, so we've already got the door frame made. Especially since games have been 60 bucks for so many years and generations of consoles. Yeah, exactly. Like, people's expectations have gotten so much higher for what they expect out of a game, but the prices have stayed exactly the same. Like, at some point, you gotta budge on your expectations there a little bit. Oh, apparently Psychonauts 2? What is that about? Psychonauts 2 came out today? Shit, Psychonauts 2 comes out in like an hour. I didn't play the first one, but I've only heard good things about it. Neat. Okay, so we have these end caps textured, so I don't have to worry about that. The door frames. So we only care about the actual like end caps. And to pack these a little bit better, we're gonna cut them up some. So I'm gonna unhide this. Oh, we also want these to fit within the crevice of our new thing. So select all these. Make them fit. Cool. So now we can cut these, I think. Around here. Apparently there was a bug in Fortnite that allowed you to be abducted in arena, and then you were able to kill players who were killed. Sort of gulag. You took nice. I feel like sometimes we are the playtesters. Since they update the game so fast, it's probably pretty true. Okay, cut these into fourths. Dope. Yep, that'll work. And then, oh wait, we can probably just do one of these things. I want to cut the whole thing into fourths so it packs tighter. And the seams we can just make part of the design. Add some like screws next to it. Early access game, Fortnite's in beta, lol. Pack that real quick. I gave this 10 seconds to find the best packing job. It's probably too much. I'm gonna turn the heuristic down to 5. And then for this one, I will enable rotation for the pieces so I can find the best packing job. For other UVs I was doing, I needed the pipes that the energy is piping through to be facing a very specific direction on the UV map. So I had turned rotation off for the packing. Did I not cut this enough? I did not. I missed one. 1 out of 2. Not great in terms of scoring. Unwrap, pack. Yeah, that's something they would have had to patch almost instantly. There's no way that would still be in the game. So now we can just say, make sure the normals are facing the right direction. It looks like they are. Ultraviolet lights. What about ultraviolet light? Okay, file, export, wrong file format. File, export. Oh, Alembic is an option now. Nice. Z up. Call this T2 in caps. So Z up, mesh, selected objects only. Oh, I said UV. Oh, UVs are. It's a UV map, not like a light. It's I don't actually know why it's called UV map. What does UV and UV maps stand for? What does it actually stand for, though? I know what it is, because I use them all the time. UV mapping is the 3D modeling process of projecting a 2D image onto a 3D model's surface. The term UV refers to the bidimensional 2D nature of the process. The letters U and V denote the axes of the 2D texture because X, Y, and Z are already in use to denote that of the axes of the 3D model. But does it actually stand for anything? Maybe V for vertical. What's the letters UV stand for in UV mapping? Huh, I guess they don't stand for anything. I just use them as different axes. Weird. So mesh, Z up, faces for normals, export. Take that into Painter. Go ahead and save our text here. File, new, select, in caps. They're here. Nice. So then we can say bake mesh maps. 48. Big selected textures. That'll bake all of our maps. Oh. Arbitrary axes X, Y, and Z are taken. I suppose. Yeah, that makes sense, I guess. I have no idea, man. I never really thought about it. I'm just gonna apply the basic material I've been using, and we'll add some details. So, steel gun mat, always good old reliable, I guess. Obvious texture seams here, but nobody's ever gonna look there. I don't think. So then, as a basis, I guess I don't have all the stuff I had downloaded previously. They have like some good base materials to use as a starting point, and then you modify them for your own purposes. So, what I was looking for. So this is a website where you can get base materials. Don't want y'all to see my login credentials. So all assets. Oh wow, they have 3D models now? Sick. Wow, that's impressive. That's a big library of models. Holy crap. I didn't know they had added that. Anyway, great. Nothing I particularly like here. Ceramic? Metal? Maybe coal? Circle? Huh. Well, I can make my own. Photoshop. Oh, here's my beautiful thumbnail. We'll make a 1024 texture. Make a new circle. Pretty easy to make this material on my own, honestly. Make sure this is centered. Scale down some. Duplicate it 4 times so this will be tileable. This is the kind of grading I was picturing. Like offset holes. So I think taking a little bit smaller. So there's more of a gap between. Which this would honestly be really easy to do in Substance Designer to make an actual material that I want to make, rather than doing it in Photoshop like this. Just making a mask in Photoshop is pretty stupid easy though. Okay, so file, save as, editing drive, nope, documents, game design, punch bomb. God, I have too many files. Maps, descend, pieces individual, transport. Just save it here. Whole substance, and then I wanted to save it as a PNG. Photoshop just changed the way the hotkey for that in the most recent release. Whole substance. Cool. Okay, so now if we bring that into Substance Painter, we can use that in various ways. So if I go to Maps, send. Where did I save that? There it is. Okay, so grab our mask here, import it as a texture. I'm just gonna import it for all of my future assets. Why not? So we're gonna turn this off just so we can see what we're working with. And here we're gonna make a metal material. Yeah. Okay, so here's what we do. Make a new fill layer like this. Make it all the way metallic. Make it nice and shiny. Then, under the height map, we make a new layer that's just height. Increase the height, add a black mask, add a fill. We shove this texture on the fill. Scale it down, should tile seamlessly. Not at the edges though, damn it. I'm gonna have to add some manual stuff. Oh, I should have hidden the seams beneath these, huh? Oh, I'm missing some. I did hide the seams beneath those, I'm just missing a couple. What am I doing? Is it amateur hour? Did I miss them over here as well? I did. Alright, so if I put these here, then the seams are hidden. And that is way smarter. So let me do that. Re-export. Rebake. This is a process. Export, FBX. End caps. Same export parameters. Edit project configuration, select our end caps. Okay. Texture settings, bake mesh maps, bake. Okay, cool. So now, take this, scale it down even further. We want this to be like super small grading. And here's what we're gonna do. We're going to add a filter blur. By not very much, you just want it to look beveled. Which means we can also turn the height down a lot here. Like so. And then on the levels, just clip it. Might even need to make the circles a little bit smaller. Let's do that. Just so more metal shows. Just a little bit. More metal, less holes. I want this to have good structural integrity. Okay, so now if we go back to Painter and we should be a refresh option, I thought. Show and explore. Oh wow, they really saved their own version of it. Texture. Library. Okay. Slightly smaller hole. It's pretty subtle, but wow, that changed almost nothing. Really? Yeah, really not. Yeah, it's not a huge difference. I guess it's good enough, you know? Alright, so now add a new layer that does not affect height, but only affects color, metallic, and roughness. So we want this to be not metallic, we want it to be black, and we want it to be as rough as possible so it looks like holes. And then we take this, we want the blur, we want the levels, we also want to invert it. Bam. So now, from a distance, it looks like a sci-fi grading of some sort. And we can also take that rotate it 45 degrees. No, it's better. So now we take these, all these beauties, put them in their own little folder. I'm so used to Photoshop hotkeys. Call this sci-fi great. Add a black mask to that, and only put this on these areas. Excuse me, Jesus. And that looks pretty cool. Looks like a sci-fi grading of some sort. So now if we turn our steel gun mat back on, looking pretty dope. So I think we're gonna make these little dividers a nice rubber material. It'll be subtle, nobody will even notice, but I will. Oh, let's also make the seams seem on purpose. Make the seams seem on purpose. Okay, so for that, I'm going to make a base color of black, roughness of 1 billion. Don't really care about any of the other parameters. Oh, height, yeah. Height down. Add a black mask. And this is repaint seams. Gotta make sure you're more than halfway on the island for it to be accounted for. Yeah, there we go. So now it looks like it's constructed on purpose. I can make this brush a little bit smaller though. Something like that. And we'll put some little screw holes next to it too when we're done. That looks cool. Make sure I hit all of them. Sometimes texturing can be tedious. Normally, I've if I was really feeling it, I would texture this on my Wacom Cintiq tablet, but that tablet is a monitor, and that monitor is not being shared with the stream currently. So, you know, that ain't happening. So how we do screw holes, there's actually a really neat tool for that. Normally I used to do it my own way, but I can just add a new paint layer, and they have like a brush in Substance Painter designed just to paint screws on things. It's dope. Grab a screw bolt, change the size a whole bunch, up the spacing. Bam, screws, easy. Easy that was. How flippin' easy that was. I can even just like do it manually, just say I want 3 of them. And those, if we want them to look a little bit better, we can add a levels, adjust the metal, adjust the roughness until they're a little bit rougher so they catch the light more. Maybe not quite that rough. You can also affect the base color, brighten it up. Alright, so this is base color. Okay, they are bright. Metallic, roughness, normal. Cool. Oh, it just adds like a little extra layer of detail to have some like rivets or screws there. Makes it look like it's constructed rather than a seam. And if they're not perfectly lined up, it's fine. Just within reason. Because humans do make errors, and most structures are built by humans. Surprise, surprise. Fortunately, I have this straight line here helping me line them up. Yeah, so I think that looks pretty cool. Cool enough, at least, for what we're doing here. And then this will mostly be covered by the other thing. So let's go ahead and make these like a nice rubber, I think. So for that, I'm going to add a white mask. Let me go ahead and save this before it crashes. Caps _ substance. Also, let me, under our sci-fi grate, let's just make the base layer like a nice stained steel rather than, I'll do stained steel. That is not rough at all. Or in shiny, sorry. Basic parameters, roughness. Oh, maybe. Turn on the sharpening, turn off the... Oh. Yeah, that's looking better. The dirt was kind of screwing it. That'll just add like at least a little bit of variation and detail to the color map. And the roughness map. Cool, okay, so let's go ahead and get our rubber material set up, and then we're gonna add some dirt to all of this. Rubber dry seems pretty good for a base. Fancy indeed. I did see that message earlier. I meant to respond to it earlier. So those are like worn edges, I guess. Make this a lot darker. And shinier. I don't know. This is kind of an ugly material, huh? Of course, we're only using it for the beams. to add some contrast. It needs more detail of some sort. It'll have more detail when we add some dirt. So now let's do the same thing on this side with the screws and whatnot. Screws and the seams. So we did all those with seams. Now I gotta do all of these. Sometimes it's hard to guess which island goes with which part of the model. That just takes some intuition and a lot of experience doing it. Booyah. Like so. Now I can go back to our screws layer. Make sure we're on the right one. Looks right to me. So select that, go back to our brush. We're already on the right brush apparently. And just add some nice, nifty screws. Always rotate the light around to see how it's catching the light and how it's working. I think we did the opposite side over here, horizontally. So we did the interior and then the exterior over there though. Just whichever side is bigger, I think it looks better that way. Cool, so now to make these look like they're actually screwed in, we're gonna add an additional height layer. This is only gonna affect the height and only subtly. But if we paint around these like so, just adds that extra layer of realism to it. I'm gonna scale this down a little bit. Add some nice blur. Surprised I'm still alive. I got a lot, like, I'm not going to bed till I get everything I wanted to get done tonight done. Something like that I think looks pretty good. Just adds like a little bit of light catching next to the screws so it looks like they're really screwed in. We can just stamp this on all of the screws we already did. This is a trick I've used all over the place in this project. Looks good. Okay, so now we just want to add some dirt to this and we can call it done enough. As in, I can always come back and add detail to the textures later. So here I can just say, there's a really cool trick for dirt. There's actually a generator for it in Substance Painter that makes my life so easy. I can just add some rust here. You're thinking rust. This is rust, Chris. It's not dirt. Are you crazy, man? No, this is dirt. Check this out. So if I, rather than adjusting the rust color here, it's easier to add a filter. HSL for hue, saturation, lightness. Tone down the saturation, tone down the lightness. Make it more dirty looking. We can also take this and scale it down some, make the scale match a bit better to the scale of the model. Then we add a black mask, we add a generator, and we add dirt. And this has all sorts of parameters. to make our life super easy. We can tone down the dirt level some. We don't want it to be super intense. We can up the contrast of it so you can really see it coming in the crevices. This is why it's so important to bake your mesh maps when you start working in Substance Painter, because now it knows where like the nooks and crannies of the model are, and it knows where to add dirt if you're trying to add dirt to it. And it just adds like that extra layer of realism there. I think we upped the contrast a little bit too much. Maybe not enough. Something like that, maybe. Just adds that extra layer of realism, like this has been here for a while. Dope. This is looking good enough to me to pass off to Unreal Engine for the night and call done for the night. And then come back either tomorrow or Friday to work on this some more. Depends on how tired I am based on how much overtime I'm pulling at work. So export the textures. Make sure we export this as an Unreal Engine texture. I need to name the material, my bad. T2 end caps. File, export textures. Set this to Unreal Engine. For those who are curious, the Unreal Engine 4 SSS stands for subsurface scattering. You would use that as if you're working on like a organic skin kind of material. Subsurface scattering is where light hits an object, penetrates it, bounces around on the inside of the object and comes out. It's really useful for adding life to organic objects, like people. I just called people objects. So documents, game design, punch bomb. I've gone through this folder structure a bajillion times at this point. I should just make a notepad document with frequently visited folders, like locations. I can just copy paste right here. That would be smart. This is gonna be transport. Wait, no. Pieces individual, transitions. And this is T2 underscore in caps. Export those textures. Save settings. Oh, no. File, export textures. I did this wrong. Oh no, it did it right. Cool. Go over to Unreal Engine. Transition 2. Have our end caps. From Substance Painter, when you export textures, you can open the output directory right there. So in Unreal, there are a couple steps to do here. First of all, drag the textures in. Second of all, right-click the occlusion roughness, or double-click the occlusion roughness one. Make sure it's not set to RGB. Those are black and white textures, just in each individual color channel of the image. So now, we need our model as well. T2 end caps, import all. Dope, looking cool. And for this, under transport, I believe, descend, yeah, okay. So we can make a material instance, and that'll make my life a little bit easier. So T2 in caps match for material, shove that under transitions, shove that under transition 2. T2 in caps mat. Cool. So I made this material template, essentially. It makes it super easy to just check things rather than building an entire node-based thing every time I want to make a material. It also saves performance in the engine because it's loading the same material, essentially, just swapping out the textures. This is super useful. So base color, we want our end caps base color. We want our end caps normal map, and we want our end caps occlusion roughness material. Specular stays the same. Emissive needs to be blank. I have a blank texture just for that. Cool. So now, if we go to our end caps model, right here, grab our end caps material and plug it in. Notice that's in place now, looking mighty cool. The screws are really bright. I don't know why they come across so dark in Substance Painter. Then we want to go to our blueprints, blueprints, transition 2. Oh, we need to stop the simulation. Whoops. Anyway, go back to our art. Did that save? It did. Okay. So grab our end caps, shove those in. Cool. Now the end caps are there. And now we also need the door caps, which are under transition 1. Door frame. I don't know why those are getting parented to the turbines. Alright, door frame. Let's see. Looks correct, I think. Yep, looks correct. And I just need to add the other door frame, which means Control C, Control V. Rotate you 180 degrees. And I don't know how, I think it lines, yeah, okay, I'm a little bit, supposed to line up something like that, should be pretty close. Cool. We got a lot done tonight. We also have the doors that we can shove in. I might make some yellow versions of those for the energy chamber. Just change the texture of the lights out. Looking pretty cool. Nice. So we got the text done. We got the end caps done. That was what I wanted to accomplish tonight. So I think we'll call it there. It is midnight. It's bedtime for me. Thanks for everybody who hung out. It was good to see everybody again. It's been a minute. It's been, I think, almost a month. I don't know. I was thinking I was going to take a longer break, but I felt like I might as well stream game development. So hopefully I'll be back later this week to work on this game some more. I have a whole lot to get done. Thank you, TARDIS Man, for keeping me company. Thank you, Banana, for stopping in and out. Damon, I hope you got all your homework done. I don't know if you're still lurking or not. But y'all have a great night. Hopefully I'll be back either tomorrow or Friday, depending on how tired I am after my day job. But peace.